Well, I always have to start off talking to a California audience by letting you know that I learned my recycling in California, and many of the people in the room, including this guy taking the picture, are responsible for that. Thank you, Paul. So I am always grateful to be here, and it's great to be with friends and fellow activists again. I have a few short points to make, certainly within 10 minutes. I think one of the best things we need to fight these incinerators and other bad garbage facilities are positive examples. The room has been filled with positive examples today from EPR. Lynn reviewed what was going on in Europe. All throughout the whole day, we've just had examples of excellent businesses and city and county programs. City and county programs, you can see I'm not used to holding one of these things. The second thing I want to point out is what a great victory we've had. I was born literally as World War II ended in August of 1945. My generation, many of you share this, the first generation in American history not to recycle, and we brought it back. So I think that's terrific, and we brought it back by showing what a social contract is. And we're showing what a social contract is at the very time when a right-wing faction in this country is trying to destroy our social contract. So I think our work for our, I'm speaking in general, over the last 30, 35 years has been quite sensational, and it is one of the shining stars of the environmental movement. Whether we win the greater battle or not, I think we've done our share, and I know we're going to keep on doing our share. The other thing I'd like to mention that we need, and Mary Lou and I just talked about this, we need to promote our labels. We have so many great expressions. How much waste are you for? Plastic ocean. I could go through several that Paul Conant has come up with alone. And if we had the money to put these expressions in 30-second shots on the Super Bowl and on Project Runway that everybody watches, we'd win. Because we're talking common sense, and we're talking justice, and we're talking social responsibility. Now, there are a couple of things I want to point out. The presentation by Jim Bell that started us off this morning was terrific. I understand the ideas and the numbers behind that. I would just make a couple of suggestions. If Jim Bell's ideas are successful, it will no longer be a free market. The free market doesn't exist. The free market is the latest loophole that comes out of Congress that the corporations have pushed through. What we need is a fair market. So if we start incorporating the costs, the social costs, as well as the generalized cost, we will have a fair market. And I have two simple ways of doing it that are much quicker, perhaps, than all the calculations that Jim has gone through and many other thousands of calculations that would have to go through to make it very clear what the true cost of production is. And the first is something that Gary Liss mentioned early on, and I know he's been campaigning for it in California for many years, a waste surcharge, a national waste surcharge. Make it real expensive to waste. And I think we all well, I think we all understand that. The surcharge does that exactly, and perhaps it's a shortcut to where Jim Bell wants to get us. And the other is an expression that I learned from my early studies in radical history, radical thought at the turn of the let me see, I get my centuries mixed up. This comes from the early 1840s, when Frederick Engels looked at the political economy and he said, all we have to do to change this thing from competitive to cooperative is to integrate two things into the cost system of our economy, trees and children. If we were to value trees for what they are worth and children for what they're worth, our whole economy would be turned upside down. And of course, Engels concluded, what are the two most efficient things that you can invest in and get the most growth return? Trees and children. So that's just a way of perhaps simplifying Jim's concept, which we all accept. And the final thing I will say is two final things. One, we did discuss that someone mentioned that if we could redesign our products, we'd be in good shape. And of course we will. But it's not a question of redesign. There are a lot of evil people in this world. Now, there are more good people, but the evil that the smaller number of people do just overwhelms us. And I think we all know what we're talking about. And we have to understand that, and we have to use raw power against it to the greatest extent we can. I know we're behind the 8 ball now, given what's going on in Congress, but I just want to relate one short story. When Rick Anthony and I started working together in Philadelphia, we had the power of the city council behind us. Very powerful people, David Cohn, a great hero, James Coleman, another great local hero. With their orders behind us, we went to the head of the DPW. We gave him a list of the questions we wanted: how many workers there are, how many trucks, basic questions that we all ask every day when we go on our jobs. And the gentleman, whose name I won't mention, slapped his head just like this and said, "Neil, Rick, you want me to get all these facts? I don't have time to get facts. I have to make decisions." And so, and I think what we've done, and this is a critical thing, we have made recycling economically valuable, even though we had to wait for 10 or 15 years before it was economically valuable. And that's an incredible thing to do in a capitalist society. So again, I want to applaud us. And then finally, I want to use, I know several people brought up the new types of incineration, gasification, pyrolysis, plasma arc. I want to go back, and I think Paul used this. I want to go back to what these things were called at the turn of the 20th century. They were called destructors. And that's what they do. Landfills and whatever form of incineration you want to call it, they destroy raw materials, they destroy lives. And we need to, as we did in Philadelphia, we had raw power behind us, we stopped an incinerator cold, but that coalition did not stay together long enough, and right now Philadelphia is recycling just as much as it did 20 years ago, 9 or 10%. So we'd only have to, and I think and I'll end on this. We know that Obama won an incredible victory. People literally were crying in the streets. We all know that. But if you're on the good side, you have to win 3 or 4 elections. If you're on the bad side, you just have to win 1 election. And we see what's going on now. So we need raw power. We need to organize. We're going to defeat 90% of these incinerators that are proposed now, just as we defeated 90% of them 30, 25 years ago when we all got to know each other for the first time. There are 2 under construction now, Palm Beach County and upstate New York, the Taylor plant, the gasification plant. I don't think there are going to be that many more of them because we're going to keep working at it. And I guess my dream is that our energy, our success can be extended to other points of society, which have not been, these sectors have not been as successful as we have been, and we've got to work with all of those other sectors. Thank you very much.